it's only religious. You saw my staff went to the Freemasons. Freemason is not, it's not a religious institution. It's a gentleman's club. It even has a bar inside. But you see, these are the people who are also the loudest.
Do you say people who are going to church don't drink?
It's not registered. All religious institutions are registered in Kenya through the Register of Societies, all of them. And so, people claiming those exemptions yet conducting business, let's be fair. Senator Sifuna, you represent Mama Mboga, who comes early in the morning to Wakulima, and she's paying her 50 bob. But people
you can't flog this horse further.
No, the point is made.
Can I just
one was the debt swaps Senator Cherargei asked. I've not answered your last question.
Yes, please. Yes, true.
There's not been good progress. We've done numerous meetings. One example is, I explained yesterday in a different committee, Chair, how I was going to be very happy having moved Nairobi from 119 billion pending bills to 0, because what was going to happen, I've already reduced from 119 to 86. Now from the 86, the Supreme Court ruled that Nairobi County is owed for the Makasi garrison. It was ruled that it is ours, and we said the military must now start paying for it. And the value of it, in my assessment and the assessment of our team, was 80. It has come down to 75. That negotiation stopped there. But if you press upon them to pay, as even to say to pay an additional 10 billion every year or 20, it will come to deliver services to the people. Because the court found that is a property Nairobi bought for value from Kayole Estates. That time it was 40,000 pounds. So these are the things that can really help us be able to serve the people better. Chair, I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Chair, just follow up, because when we finish the issue of revenue, I think we'll be done. Chair, yes. Governor, I sympathize with you with the issue of rating, and we are about the statutory instrument. But I am jittery, because your potential should be 65.1 billion. If I accept the property rate, when you come to parking fees, your potential should be 2.5, but you are collecting 2 billion, just as an example. The hospital and public health fees, you should be collecting 6.2 billion, but you are collecting 1.5 billion. The building plan approvals, and I see many buildings coming up everywhere in this city, you should be collecting 6.1 billion, but you are collecting 1.35 billion. On the issue of business trading license, the potential is 16.0 billion, but you are collecting 2.7 billion. This issue, and this is the analysis of your revenue. The liquor licensing is very interesting, because I normally see estimated potential of 8.4 billion, but you are collecting 338 million. I'm just giving breakdown, exempting the rating, the property rate. So does it mean, one, how do you, through the chair, how do you ensure that this potential is maximized? Number two, for example, like liquor licensing. I know most Nairobians like sherehe. And whenever I drive around, you see quiver, you see what, and even your senator with indulgence has always referred himself as Waziri wa Sherehe. I thought you should have at least corrected 5 billion to 8.5 billion. So what are you doing to maximize this other revenue that you don't need the rating at? Finally, you have said that you are moving to from non-cash basis. Governor, we saw one of your senior officials, although this is a matter under investigation, was found with 65.6 million, although I'm told it was more. You never know what happens in this country. And it's a senior county official, and you are talking about moving to non-cash. Why would a senior official be found with more than 65 million in a house? What is, the point is, I don't need to deal with the investigating part, but you are talking about non-collection through cash. So my concern, if you find a senior official and you have said we are moving to cashless, then some of us doubt, considering finding 65 million with one person is very, very dangerous.
Thank you, Chair. Let me deal with the substantive issues. Yes, the potential in those revenue streams that you have mentioned. I'm not going to agree with the figures, because that was just an estimate, but it is high. But remember, you also need resources to collect resources. You know, you need to invest in equipment. You need, and especially for what we call the DCU, the debt collection unit. we are now getting into leasing to have more vehicles for those teams that go to the ground. And so the potential is there, but of course we also don't want to overtax Nairobians. We're not raising taxes. We've not raised for the last 2 or 3 cycles, but we're expanding where people can actually be able to pay. An example that counties have not explored well, I think apart from Kisumu and maybe Lamu, if I'm not wrong, is what you call entertainment tax. I think Kwale, one of the coastal counties. You know, the constitution says that counties can levy business and property fees, and B, it says entertainment taxes. If an entertainment tax of whatever percentage is put on a lot of what you'd call entertainment, it is a potential for all counties to actually raise some money, and it can be collected even by KRA, you know, as a percentage as they collect their VAT, without overburdening Kenyans. Yes, Senator Cherargei, Nairobians love sherehe. There's been an increase in liquor, especially this financial year, again because of the same process. We now moved to liquor pay. Now, liquor pay is a system that is digital, that all of those who are applying to run these businesses are now using. They're very happy with it. You know, it's very hard to hear people you're regulating coming to say thank you for doing that. I think finally on the officer found with money, it is not revenue he was found with. I don't think it's being investigated. But in Nairobi, first, we don't condone that. And I condemned it completely. I suspended the officer immediately. We've seen cases of people being found with money from national government, from other counties before, whether it was bribes collected from people, etc. It is wrong. And we must do everything we can do to tighten systems to prevent that. Of course, as I said, even in that in my statement, there's a space for personal culpability. You know, I saw the media, my friends here, trying to now run with it, saying Sakaja's officer found, like, surely, how do I know what you have in a bucket in your house or under your bed?
But he's your officer.
I have 19,000 officers.
You know, you are right, he's your officer.
But when someone else was found, KPA, they didn't say so-and-so's officer found with 500 million, you know? It is very unfair when
but they ran the same headline. I hope you saw.
Thank you.
But the point I'm making is
that in defense of the media, yes, Sakaja, you know, I'm also ascribed.
Oh, they even apologized to me.
But you know,
for the 4-on-1,
there is nothing wrong with them making reference to you because they also need familiarity, you know.
No, they can say Nairobi County Government
the boss of Nairobi City officer is the boss is Sakaja. So
a very close ally. I think we can close. But you have worked with him. Very close ally. Let's close. But some of us know you as that. Yes, is your close
Senator. Chairman.
Progress.
Chairman, as we make progress,
yes,
Governor, I think you need to. I'm happy that you are condemning the officer who was found with money. You know, when you look at the projections on how much you should be making, and when you see an officer working with 65 million shillings, that should be an indicator there is a big leakage in terms of collecting of rates or revenue and the like. So you really need to, you can't blame the media. Of course, certainly there is a problem within your own administration, that there is that wind of somebody working with 65 million shillings. Is an indicator that there is a problem. So I hope when you go back, you will fix that issue, that weakness in system that can enable an officer to walk around with 65 million shillings.
Chair, thank you.
Chair, I don't know why the governor is complaining because I don't know if you saw, they were saying the same. When you don't show up to the committee, the people of Nairobi are saying, go and get him from his house. Because they say you are my governor. Yeah, they say that I am unable to do oversight. In fact, even on this specific officer, the explanation was that I should know where all of your officers live and should be conducting periodic oversight visits. And now at home. So you shouldn't be complaining because at the end of the day, the people expect that those of us in these positions do something about some of these things.
So as we make progress, members, just Governor.
Yes, sir.
In the financial year 23-24, for land rates, we corrected 3.4 billion, but there was a huge leap for the financial year 24-25, you collected 18.5 billion. Is it?
No.
Is that figure okay?
No, that is one of the queries. That was a receivable of.
Oh, that is a receivable
of those who had
for
invoiced.
land rates.
For land rates.
Okay.
Those are people, in fact, those are the best, because these are people you know, isn't it? They have an account, you have invoiced them, but they have not paid.
Okay.
It is easy to enforce on those ones than those who you may not know. And what we're working on as well, and I really wish it would be faster, an API between us and the Ministry for Lands. Because sometimes you get a defaulter, and then they say, oh, I did a subdivision. And so they say, or the ownership changed. The county should be able to know real time when those changes happen, so that we go after the right person. But the 18.5 chair was receivable. In terms
So it is
of people-
occasioned by the change in from cash to accrual.
From cash to accrual.
Okay, let's make progress. So people, do what you can do so that we can get these receivables. And then number two, if there's anything that the Senate can do
Yes.
in terms of fast tracking the
Rating Act.
Yeah, the Rating Act and the other one is which one?
Sectional property.
Sectional Properties Act. For the
Chair,
regulations.
maybe
We
just
need to
1
expedite.
minute,
Yeah.
30 seconds. You said you are supposed to do something with lands, Ministry of
Yeah.
Lands. Is there progress so that we don't need to come up next year so that it's assist? Because I know majority, if they can give you those, it is easy.
It slowed
And
down.
Nixon Koriri is your personal friend.
That is true. But you know, institutions also exist. And we have been taken round by officers. I don't know why. Because, you see, if Senator Cherargei, you buy land today from Senator Wambua, I should be able, as the rating authority, to know who is the new.
The other way around. Me buying from him, not him buying from me.
Oh, hey, God's blessings, you know.
Yeah, it's okay.
But
From my lips to God's ears.
Members, I think we need to agree.
You know, Wambua is an
Make
incoming
progress.
governor, so
Yes.
you should expect
We need to agree.
to be
So,
told such things.
Governor, not really auditor, let's look at paragraph 9.2 on under receipting of own source revenue against bank collections. Go through the paragraph, then we get to know what the governor has to say.
Thank you, Chair. 9.2, under receipting of own source revenue against bank correction. Analysis of Nairobi State County Executive own source revenue for the financial year under review reviewed variance between the receipts recorded in the automated revenue system and credit in the bank account. The system reported total receipts of Kenya shillings 10 billion 602 million 255,881, while the bank reflected collection of Kenya shillings 11 billion 515 152 905, resulting in unreconciled variance of Kenya shillings 912 million 897 014. This indicates that part of the revenue credited in the bank was not receipted in the system as required. Failure to align the system with the bank credit undermines the integrity of the reported revenue and weakens the accountability in the management of the public funds. Further, it was not possible to confirm the completeness and accuracy of own source revenue for the year, and the county is exposed to revenue leakage and possible misappropriation of funds leading to misstatement of financial reports. Thank you.
Governor, let's get the response.
Yeah, allow me to read it and then just give a further explanation. Let me read what we gave. Chair, the variance of 912,897,014 is as a result of payments done directly to the bank without specific revenue stream narration or invoice numbers. Such payments do not reflect in the system as integration is based on the bill or invoice numbers. These are receipted later when reconciliation is done that identify similar payments related to issued bills. The county is in process of enhancing system integration to ensure that this challenge is resolved. So, Chair, the system that you're talking about here, the revenue collection system has three ways of paying. One is through the USSD. When you dial *647#, because once you dial *647#, there's a drop-down menu, and you'll say, I am paying for land rates, or I am paying to use Uhuru Park, or whatever it is. And then you pay. There'll be services.go.ke, where whatever you pay then gets receipted, because you paid for a specific item. And of course, going to any customer service center, and we know that Moruma has paid $1 million for this. Now, there's a category of people who send a payment directly to the county, to the bank. This 912 is money that there is more money in our bank than in the system, payments that didn't go through the system. So somebody just does an RTGS to Nairobi County Government of 5 million or of 3 million, and then our guys have to figure it out. What was this 3 million for? We found it in the bank statement, but we don't know what revenue thing it was until that person comes himself and says, I paid for approval of building plans and this is my receipt. So that is what we're trying to get integrations, including speaking to the Kenya Bankers Association. This normally happens with the banks that we don't bank with. When you go to cooperative bank and the banks you bank with, they assist or they have a drop down. But through the Kenya Bankers Association, we want them to have a drop down menu. If someone is paying Nairobi County, you can go to the drop down and say, this is for rates, or this is for, whatever it is. In fact, you'll see there's very small discrepancy in parking payments, for instance, because that one is direct. You have not been invoiced, it's *647, you pay, and there's no discrepancy. So this 912 is attributed to that, but it is not money that has leaked away from the county. It is more money that has come than what the system has reported, because of people paying directly to our banks.
Okay, Governor.
I hope you understand.
Point us to Appendix 9.1 in your documents.
Yeah?
9.1. I don't seem to be having it. You have it?
Yes.
It's there. It's not labeled 9.1. Even as you look at the appendix, auditor, there was more money in the bank
Than in the system.
Is this a reconciliation issue, or does it point to loss of funds? Do you think the response has answered that question?
Thank you, Chair. What the management provided in soft copy is the revenue for the total 11. What is outstanding, our concern also is the reconciliation to support this reconciliation 912. The variance between the two, because we need to ascertain the accuracy of the 912 million. So that is what is outstanding.
912 million, you need to know where it came from. Is it possible to know where it came from? That's what the audit is.
That's the process. We have to, if someone just sends an M-Pesa from Dallas, does not say what it's for.
Governor, the problem is in your response, you said the reconciliations and schedules have been provided in soft copy. The auditor is saying there are no reconciliations in that soft copy. That's what he's saying.
You don't have the...
Did you provide the reconciliation?
We provided, yeah. We provided the reconciliation to the extent that we can reconcile. There are some which remain that we are not aware of.
So then we should be able to see if what you're saying is correct. If it was 912, we should see reconciliations for at least 400 or 300. Is that the case, Auditor General?
Yeah.
Exactly, that's the case.
How far have they reconciled?
Because they were now addressing the specific, they only provided the total revenue.
You're losing us.
Discrepancy.
You're losing us. The governor is saying he has provided reconciliations to a certain extent. That's what we want to know, so that we know what reconciliations are outstanding.
We provided.
So how much has been reconciled?
They need the reconciliation for the entire amount.
For all of it?
So
there's a reconciliation for the
900.
But what happens is a small amount left, we'll get the specific, is then reported as other incomes. That is what I want to give. And Chair, by the way, what would be really bad is if the system has more money than the bank.
Yeah.
that if there's 912, the system and the bank is missing 912, that's a leakage. This is extra in the bank than what was in the system. So just provide the detail to where we got. Of course, you'll not be able to determine all of it until somebody, for instance, until I come to your house and say you didn't pay rent. They'll say, no, this M-Pesa on this date was the actual rent payment. Then we reconcile.
So auditor, because members, because you don't have that reconciliation, is it possible you keep it in view in your next audit? Yeah, in your next audit. Maybe 2 weeks you provide that document to the auditors for whatever you've been able to reconcile. 14 days.
That's okay.
You want to ask something, Dr. Legwe?
Governor, for how long will you rely on manual extraction of bank balances to reconcile your statements?
What do you mean by manual extraction?
Your system does not reconcile.
It does.
It doesn't.
It does. The system I know does. It does.
The auditor has pointed out that, however, the system lacks full functionality to generate accurate, comprehensive, and reliable revenue reports. Consequently, the county relies on manual extraction and analysis of revenue from bank statements.
No. Maybe let me ask the receiver of revenue to explain. Tell us. Also an ICT guy.
Thank you, Chair. I think the difference that the auditor is pointing out to is the same 912, because if it did not have the proper narration, the system will not be able to recognize it. But once it has a proper narration, then the system is able to recognize it. So that is a variance that is there. And that's why His Excellency says that we are also engaging the bankers associations for us to be able to have the payments come in a manner that is recognizable by the system. Because remember,
Chair,
every single day there are thousands of people.
Sorry,
On a point of procedure.
yes, Senator.
Since we have, and the rules of Parliament are very clear, since we don't have that document here, why are we discussing?
We are engaging
Why
a
don't
document
we
that is not there.
rest the matter a stop,
Yes.
then give further direction, because we are shooting in the dark.
That is what I had proposed.
Yes.
Before Dr. Lego said he wants to ask. I didn't know he's asking about the same thing. Why don't we then go to 9.3? 9.3 auditor. 9.4. No, revenue calculation. 9.4.
9.3 is the rest.
Sorry,
9.4.
let's go to 9.4.
Thank you, Chair. Unauthorized revenue reversal. Audit established that 2 commercial banks contracted by the Nairobi City County reversed a total amount of Kenya shillings 2,224,474 from the revenue correction at source, without prior authorization from the county treasury or legal basis. These reversals were not backed by formal referred policy or disclosed or approved by the county budget execution framework, allowing revenue correction agent to reverse funds directly from the revenue account without legal authority or treasury approval amount to spending at source, exposing the county to financial mismanagement and loss of public funds. In the circumstances, the accuracy, regularity, and completeness of the revenue correction totaling to 28,869,874,594 could not be confirmed.
Okay, Governor.
Chair, there's an answer. Let me read it first, then I explain. Chair, the reversed amount of 2,224,474 was noted by the county and addressed to the bank. The standard operating procedures indicate the bank should seek approval anytime there is a reversal. Anytime there's an error made by the bank or the client, a standard reversal form is filled and approved by either the bank manager, if the error is originating from the bank, or the director of revenue administration, if the error is originating from the client. Then an approval is granted through the same form. So what we've attached is letters to banks stopping unauthorized revenue reversals and an extract of bank statements showing revenue reversals of 2.2 million, 24,474. Corrective measures undertaken, SOPs for revenue reversals were reinforced and they're operational currently in the county. Banks were formally instructed to seek approval before effecting reversals. And this also should include M-Pesa and mobile money providers. Standard reversal forms requiring authorization by responsible officers were introduced. I don't think should I expound more? It's a small, it's not an insignificant amount.
Yeah.
Out of 13.8 billion, this is 0.016%. But it is normally when an error has been made, you want to pay 1,100, you pay 1,300. And so you ask for that to be reversed. Or sometimes the person filling the RTGS in a bank makes an error. And I agree, by the way, legally, anything coming out of CRF without having gone through the controller is like spending at source, even though they made a mistake. So we need, advice how to treat that. When a Kenyan makes a mistake in the M-Pesa and sends us 25,000 instead of 2,500, then applies for reversal from Safaricom, and Safaricom okays it. Because also we are paid through a pay bill number for M-Pesa 6060047. So that is the challenge that this is trying to look at. Auditor can advise us how to address it.
I think whatever governor has explained is okay, the action you have taken. What we did not get is the evidence it has been reversed. I think the supporting that it has not been reversed. There is a communication to the bank between the two entities, but no evidence of reversal is what is lacking.
So do we mark that issue as addressed?
Yes, we can follow up during the current year audit to provide
Let's
the
keep
evidence
it in
of the
view.
reversal.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Just keep it in view. Now, members, I want us to go to report on lawfulness and effectiveness in the use of public resources. And the first issue we can look at under this category is paragraph 6, non-compliance with legal requirement to conduct data protection impact assessment. Let's go to, let's just look at 10. Let's go to 10, auditor. Let's go to 10, that is irregular engagement of Nairobi Pay vendor. Let's look at that one.
Thank you, Chair. Irregular engagement of Nairobi Pay vendor. During the year,
Okay, auditor, let's start with number 7, please, because all of them are related. Let's start with number 7. Yeah.
thank you, Chair. Outsourcing of SaaS and maintenance of Nairobi Pay
The certificate, page 12.
or page 12.
Okay, go on, auditor.
Outsourcing of SaaS and maintenance for Nairobi Pay despite county ownership. Audit established that in December 2024, Nairobi City County Executive entered into a contract with a service provider to provide software as a service, that is SaaS, for the Nairobi Pay revenue system at a cost of 4% of all revenue collected. The contract also grants the service provider responsibility for the
Auditor, are we reading the same document? Yes. What is the percentage on your document?
4.5%.
You said 4%.
Oh, sorry, 4.5. Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Go on, auditor.
Thank you. Let me repeat, sorry. Audit established that in December 2024, Nairobi City County Executive entered into a contract with a service provider to provide software as a service, into brackets SaaS, for the Nairobi Pay revenue system at a cost of 4.5% of all revenue collected. The contract also grants the service provider responsibility for the system support and maintenance. However, audit review confirmed that Nairobi Pay is already owned by the county, raising concern over the justification for outsourcing its hosting and management function. Based on the county average revenue correction of Kenya shillings 1 billion per month, the estimated cost payable to the service provider under this arrangement amount to Kenya shillings 540 billion annually. Over the 5 years, the 540 million annually.
Senator Wambua.
He's saying 540 billion.
Sorry, 540 millions. 540 million annually. Over the 5 years contract period, the total estimated cost payable to the service provider amounts to Kenya shillings 2.7 billion. No evidence was provided of cost-benefit analysis, technical limitation, or capacity constraint that would necessitate the outsourcing. In addition, no competitive procurement documents were provided, and the service agreement lacked clear justification for relinquishing operational control over the county-owned system. In the circumstances, the outsourcing SaaS and maintenance of the system.
Members, we are proposing we do all the paragraphs because they seem related up to 10. Then we ask questions. Just
7, 8, 10.
7,
8 and 10.
7, 8, and 10. We leave out 9. Okay. So let's go to 8. Auditor.
We get the responses from the...
Yes.
They are interrelated.
And then the governor responds, then we ask questions. Just mark your questions.
Thank you, Chair. Underutilization of Nairobi County Tier 1 server room due to outsourced hosting of revenue system. Audit established that Nairobi City County Executive maintained a fully equipped Tier 1 server room, developed to meet the technical and operational requirements of a data center. The infrastructure was designed to host core county systems, including operational applications and revenue management platforms. However, despite this investment, the county entered into a contract with a service provider in December 2024 for the hosting, support, and maintenance of the Nairobi Pay revenue system and a software as a service SaaS arrangement. Audit could not establish that a cost-benefit analysis or feasibility study was conducted to justify the outsourcing decision, nor was there evidence that the county executive's own data center had been assessed for readiness to support the system. As a result, the Tier 1 server room valued at approximately Kenya shillings 850 million remained underutilized, while the county incurred ongoing hosting fees estimated at Kenya shillings 540 million annually and Kenya shillings 2.7 per over the 5-year contract term based on revenue projections. In the circumstances, outsourcing system hosting to an external vendor while maintaining an idle or underutilized in-house server room led to wastage of public investment, inefficiency, and poor return on infrastructure expenditure. Thank you. 10.
Go to 10.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair. Number 10, irregular engagement of Nairobi Pay vendor. During the year under review, Nairobi County Executive operated a revenue management system, Nairobi Pay, which was in operation since October 2022. However, the contract with the vendor was dated 16th December 2024, an indication that the county had operated without a valid contract for over 2 years with the vendor up until 16th December 2024. Further, the service level agreement defined the terms of support of the revenue system was not provided. In addition, correspondences in support of how the vendor was identified and any engagements were not provided. In the circumstances, the lack of a contract and service level agreement increased the risk that the county executive will not receive the services as contracted or have defined terms of engagement on service delivery. Thank you.
Governor, you'll answer 7, 8, and 10, respectively. and then also point us to the page where your response is.
I doubt we have the same document because
you've jumped some queries. Just point us to where your response
I also
is.
read the full paragraphs.
Yes, please.
So what was the first one?
The first one is on outsourcing of SaaS and maintenance for Nairobi Pay despite county ownership.
Okay, Chair, and I've explained this many times in this house.
I know.
So many times, same thing.
It's still reappearing. So
Yeah,
we'll still have to continue.
The auditors refuse to understand what, and anyway, let me read my responses.
Just make us understand. Where, point us to your response.
So
page.
my response in my document is page 26. I don't know if that's the same you have.
Could we be having different documents?
I hope
26. Okay. Yes, 26.
The system was developed by multi-sectoral efforts from the national government and was first adopted in Nairobi City County in 2021 with support by the national government. The development of the system was to be utilized across all counties in Kenya as a shared platform service in a bid to improve the efficiency of collection, mapping, and allocation of on-source revenue, OSR. Article 189 of the Constitution mandates cooperation between national and county governments. Upon exit of the national government, Nairobi County, this is not right, didn't acquire, but we entered a contract with Konza Technopolis Development Authority. This is the one in 2024. KOTDA is a state corporation under the ministry, so acquisition was necessary to continue to provide it as software as a service, maintenance, support, and enhancement at 4.5% of all revenues collected. We've attached negotiation agreement meetings. We did it as government to government, which determined that 4.5% fees would be sufficient. And it's not just hosting, it is public web portal, the apps, Microsoft Dynamics, compliance and enforcement app, Power BI, dashboards, Nairobi Plan, submodule for building approvals and everything related to the built environment, GIS system, and constant maintenance. The charge was within the range of previous contracts entered by the county with previous outsourced revenue collection service providers. The technical support framework has been provided, and that's what preceded the contracting of Konza through the Ministry of ICT, through Konza, to provide it as software as a service. Corrective measures undertaken is that we entered the technical support framework with Konza Technopolis Development Authority. Support arrangements for Nairobi Pay maintenance, enhancement, and hosting were formalized. The county strengthened oversight of outsourced service provision. Negotiation agreements defining scope of services and responsibilities were documented. Of course, plans to strengthen internal ICT capacity and infrastructure were initiated, including hiring of people and both hardware and software, strengthening. Monitoring mechanisms for vendor performance and service delivery were enhanced through project implementation committee. The second one is page 29.
Yeah, 20.
It's at the end of 28.
The second one is duplication, duplication of.
I think, Chair, in the responses, just take one question at a time so that we don't have to be flipping back and forth.
Okay, let's see. Auditor, how is that response for that particular query? Do you think the executive answers that question? Is there anything outstanding?
I think what we may need is the clarification, the cost benefit, because the county is spending 540 million. When you are outsourcing your own system, is it?
It's not ours. That's what I wanted to explain.
Governor,
that's when the
let's just ask for the mic from me. Auditor, that's what you are saying is still subsisting?
Yes.
Governor?
Please give me the mic.
You have the mic.
What I'm seeing is a confusion here, is that there is Nairobi Pay and there is software as a service as two things. It's the same thing. It's just a brand name. And I had explained here, because we're going to go and repeat, that during NMS time, when NMS was working with KRA and the county government of Nairobi, they got these young people who developed this system, the same people who developed Ardhi Sasa. Yeah? That system was deployed to Nairobi. It was supposed to be for all the counties. When I got into office, I looked at the system because, you know, when a new governor comes into office, the first people you meet, apart from pending bills, is people who have a system for revenue, private vendors. And everybody was saying, I have a system, I have a system, I have a system. And we said, why don't we strengthen this government system that is there? And initially we said, let's strengthen and own it as a county. Chair, at this committee, your chairman actually guided us and said software as a service is better because of the maintenance cost, equipment cost going forward. And so we moved that into a contract between Nairobi County and the Ministry of ICT through Konza to provide the same service to the county, to invest in equipment, to invest in servers, to keep developing it and the apps. But it's exact, there's no company called Nairobi Pay. There is no company that is different that's providing the software as a service. It is the same arrangement, which for me is, I've seen it's very extremely efficient. So I'm not looking, you can look at we're spending 540 million, but you can also look at they're bringing 13.8 billion. It has been efficient, it has raised more revenue than any other system before. And so the G2G framework for us works very well. Yes, there are challenges here and there, as with any other system. Systems of challenges, sometimes there are downtimes, sometimes the problem is internet related, which is not, they're not the provider. But it's a system that with many iterations, that's why you have iOS 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, there's always bug fixes, there's always adjustments, and it keeps getting...
To answer, Governor,
yeah,
you need to give us evidence of the cost-benefit analysis, technical limitations, capacity constraints that the auditor is specifically asking for.
Cost-benefit analysis.
Chair, if I may, because...
yes, so that you take all.
Yeah.
Yes.
You see, Governor, this confusion has been brought about by none other than you. Because you have appeared before this committee before and swore sitting there that Nairobi owns this system.
Yes, they're giving it.
I remember.
Yeah.
So let's go slowly because the confusion has been caused by you. You have sat in that same chair. I remember it vividly. You said we own this system. The people of Nairobi are not going to pay anything else, and so on and so forth. So when that situation changes, you are the one causing that confusion. In your response there, I know you have tried to edit it. When did government exit? For why? You have said upon exit there, the national government of the national government. When did they exit? And for what reason? Number one.
Exit of NMS.
I'm reading your response at page 26. Yeah. The confusion is coming from your end. It is not from us. So you are saying Nairobi County acquired the system.
As a service. That is what is missing.
No, let's go slowly because I'm reading your text.
Yes.
The words you are saying now I don't see them on my...
When I read it, I said it's an error. When I was reading this response.
This is why we are saying, Governor, the confusion is coming from your end. Those words that you are saying, nobody stopped you from including them in the response, unless you are paying per word.
That's why I'm here.
This is a telegram.
Why do you call us?
This is what we're saying.
Clarity to
That's why we're saying, please include the full response in your written responses, because at the end of the day, it is what you have given us in writing that carries the day. Then secondly, Governor, when we're discussing competitiveness of a system that you have procured, you cannot compare it to previous contracts and say that is something that we should celebrate. You were in this house when we were having problems with how those previous systems were procured and how much they were charging counties. And you know all that background, Governor. So the competitiveness for us would be for you to demonstrate, as the auditor has highlighted, how you arrived at this particular system, how it is better value for money for the people of Nairobi, and that the law was followed. So comparing it to previous problematic service providers is not the answer. And lastly, Chair, the expectation would be, because this is a story we have had in other so-called G2G arrangements. I don't want to go there because Cherargei's sugar will spike. But we I've been told that the benefits of these G2G arrangements is that you get better rates. How are we getting commercial rates from a system that we developed with our taxpayer money? Because if it's government that developed this, it is our money. We would expect then that they would be doing at least half of what the commercial vendors are doing. So what is the cost benefit for the people of Nairobi really?
Take also for Senator Cherargei.
Chair, thank you. I just want to, Governor, we have on this matter for long.
Yes.
And I remember even your county assembly tried to investigate similar issues, although the reports disappeared. My only concern is on this. I'll just do basic. You have said this system was developed together with the government. So as of today, one, who owns this system? Number two, in this arrangement, because I can see there is a 5-year contract, is it in place that we are paying 2.7 billion? Which is amounts annually, you are paying 540 million annually. Now my question would be, where is that contract? And who did you sign contract with? That will be number 2 question. Number 3, they are saying if there is no contractual obligation, there was no competitive procurement documents and service level agreement on the issue of this county-owned control. So that will be my 3rd question. So,
Sorry, what is the 3rd question?
The 3rd question is on the aspect of, I'm reading the certificate of the OAG.
Yeah. Yes,
the OAG saying no competitive procurement documents were provided. So we need to know where these documents, because I'm just going through. And finally, on the cost benefit analysis, because if you are paying in 5 years 2.7 billion, that's like money we give to Elgeyo Marakwet County or Lamu or even Taita Tavera is a lot of billions of shillings. So the point comes back.
In 5 years.
In 2 years. This is in 2 years, according to the, in 5 years, sorry.
5 years.
Thank you for that. The 5-year contract period. So this one, this justification of payment of 2.7 billion, if you tell us who owns and you can prove who owns this, then we'll rest our matter there.
Can take Senator Fatuma Dulas also?
Chair, I don't want to be repetitive, but Governor, I can see you are very far. Maybe you are reading something. Now, we had a briefing from the auditors before you came in. And it was really very hard even for auditors to understand what Nairobi Pay is and what SARS is. Yeah? Because they were trying to tell us SARS is one system and then Nairobi Pay is another system. Nairobi Pay is owned by you. SARS are actually hired or rather bought from somebody else. And I think it is very important for you to clarify to us who owns Nairobi Pay. How did you acquire SARS? And we are being told SARS is actually housed elsewhere, which is not under your control. Finally, we want to know whether the system you have is better than what was there, because according to our understanding, we are not getting value for money as Nairobi people. And number 2, the system might not be better than what was there before. So that is what I wanted to raise. Thank you.
Let's take Senator Wambua, then you can respond.
Chairman, will be very quick. Governor, you have said you have explained this matter many times. I will volunteer information to you. This thing has thrown us off balance. Nobody seems to understand what this is. So I just take time, let's understand it. And from your response, upon exit of the national government, I gather that is the exit of NMS. Yeah? Nairobi County acquired the system. Now, what's that meaning? Acquisition means acquisition. I mean, it's, you own it. But now you're saying you don't own it. Then you went into a contract with Concert Technopolis Development Authority. What necessitated that arrangement and how is it structured? how is that an arrangement with KOTDA structured, what necessitated it, and where are we? I thank you, Chair.
Yeah, Governor, I've also tried to understand this, because in that last statement, which again you've withdrawn the word acquisition, you are saying acquisition was necessary to continue to provide SaaS, maintenance, support, and enhancement at 4.5% of all the revenues collected.